Hi, folks. This is Ryan Murphy. Welcome to Back to School Night. I'm here with Mrs. Stoudt.
Hi, everyone.
We co-teach academic Algebra 2. We figured this evening we'd give you a little bit of information about ourselves, a little bit about what to expect from the course. We'd help you navigate Canvas a bit to use it as a resource for yourself, and then leave some contact information in case you have any additional questions. To go a bit into who I am first, for reference, I am a Rutgers graduate, a proud Rutgers graduate. I graduated from there in 2013. That's the Graduate School of Education. And recently, additionally, academic credentials here. I got a supervisor certification from Rowan pretty recently, so I'm quite happy with that. As far as my roles and activities in Del Val, I do math and computer science. I am an advisor for Sport and Spirit Club, which is a club of students who show up to sporting events and help it move smoothly. We do fundraisers. We sometimes do announcements, scorekeeping, ball fetching. We just keep the sports scene running smoothly here at Del Val. And I also do SAT prep over the summer. As a human being, additionally, these are my puppies. I'm a happy dog owner, and my drum set as well, and I'm into fitness and gaming.
Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Nicole Stoudt. As Mr. Murphy said, I am his collaborative teacher this year. I graduated from Kutztown University, where I also obtained a scholarship to play softball. This is actually my 9th year here at Del Val. Mr. Murphy and I were hired together. For the first 8 years, I taught strictly math, and this year I have the opportunity to work as a special ed teacher. Before having my 2 little boys, I also coached volleyball and softball here at Del Val. I'm married. As I mentioned, I have 2 little boys, and that is my dog, Macy.
Oh, Macy. This is me and Mrs. Stout's first year working together in this capacity, so it's exciting. We've put together a class that we're pretty happy with. As far as what we try to approach each class with for academic Algebra 2, we try to have it be a mix of the following things. We try to have it be exploratory, which is more them working on things than simply us telling them things. The fact that every student has an iPad is very convenient because we're able to share them things that let them explore. We have some examples that we'll show you later. And also with a varied group like this, it's always pretty varied each year. We try to balance what we think is in their best interest. So we balance the basic principles. Those have to be in there, normal arithmetic as well as simple algebraic understandings. Also the more nuanced algebraic thinking, the conceptual thinking and critical thinking. That's all important too, that they can work in the abstract with things like variables. But then also it's important that there's a practical component to it too, and that they could actually work with these concepts concretely, because if they can't apply it, then what are they learning it for? That being said, we do have standards that we follow. Our lessons are based on that, state standards that is, but then also we try to be conscious of students' needs in terms of what they're going to be doing in the future, whether it's a trade or they're continuing their education at high levels of education, or they're taking future math classes and whatnot. So we try to cater to all these audiences the best we can. We decided that it would be a good idea to show you some slides from some of the lessons that we do. The top thing is like one of the opening exercises that we do in I forget exactly what lesson this comes from. I guess the inequalities lesson, somewhere towards the beginning of the year. This top part not being explicitly related to inequalities, but something that's just fun and something that gets them thinking. So the notion of palindromes, but applied to numbers. What this does for students is it kind of helps them think in a low stress environment about some numerical properties. They have to work with notions of divisibility and explore some properties of even numbers. And then right below, once we start rolling with the actual topic for the day, just dealing with inequalities, this is more of a procedural thing. Like, can they do it? Can they do the arithmetic and keep an inequality balance, so to speak? Pardon me for that. There's the notion of slope as well. I took a couple things from the slope lesson to show how varied each lesson could be. We might start off by showing a constant rate of change, which is what a linear equation or linear growth would represent. So they explore this in the context of some actual setting, and then they come to the conclusion by filling in the blanks here, what slope actually is in this situation. So this is straight from the notes. Students are presented with this, and they don't have to write everything. They just fill in the blanks for the sake of saving some time. Further on in the lesson, here's an exploratory component where they get to go on a website and play around with the dynamic slider so that they can see how things change as, a value approaches infinity, for example, or negative infinity. And then they're asked to kind of express their findings below. In the same lesson again, we try to interpret slope in the context of some real life situation here. So in this case, it's a positive correlation between average sugar consumption and average number of decayed teeth per person in different countries. We feel like this is pretty important because it kind of connects all the abstract thinking into something concrete. And again, like this is a research study, this is important stuff, and it helps students develop an understanding of the world from a mathematical perspective. So of course, that's an important thing. And we're happy to be doing it too. If anyone's curious about any of these answers, by the way, feel free to pause the video and read it over more thoroughly. But for the sake of time, we're going to continue and just acknowledge that as far as the resources that are out there for your students, everything that we do is on Canvas. I'll give you a brief tour of that in a moment. And we keep all our grades on PowerSchool too. Everyone's email here at Del Val is first name, last name at dvrhs.org. And I happen to be available this year, both second periods and then during unit lunch as well. So when I say Canvas is a good resource, allow me to show you real quickly. I have this in student view at the moment. So this is exactly what your student would see, or what you would see if you logged on as well. There's the home page with class info and about the teacher. I already did enough about myself, I think, but there's a little bit additional there. As far as the course syllabus, the class details, I go over some things, some of which I talked about already, some of which is just being a good student. But then as far as grades go, it's all point-based. There are no midterms this year, so everything is marking periods and then the final. Note here that under graded things, I don't have any homework assignments. Me and Mrs. Stoudt don't give homework in this class, that's graded. We don't want to give points for being a good student and doing work. We instead hope that being a good student rewards them with knowledge, and that the knowledge is what, leads to good grades. And those happen in the form of EAs, entrance assessments. So at the end of one class, I might tell students that they can expect an entrance assessment at the beginning of the next, and they have 2 days to prepare themselves, or if they feel prepared, then they're fine. But during that time, they could study, they could come to us for help, and then they take a little mini assessment, something much smaller than a quiz to kind of help prepare them for the quiz in terms of expectations and in terms of reflections about how well they do or don't understand the content. There's quizzes and there's tests, and then every once in a while, there's miscellaneous grades that may include classwork as well. One notable thing as far as the grading policy is that I have a retake policy as well, which is that every student gets a second chance on every assignment, but only a second chance. They also have to earn it. Again, being a good student leads to this opportunity. They have to be caught up with their work. They have to demonstrate that they've been taking notes in class and doing their diligence. And then they could send, fortunately, communicating with us is very easy because they have iPads. They could send us an email and schedule these things whenever. One more thing I want to show you folks is what students could expect to see on any given day, where they could click this week, be presented with the modules that we have. There's weekly summaries. We're only on week 2, obviously. Here's where they can click to see a breakdown of what's happening for any given week, with a lot of things here, honestly, but the weekly learning schedule is the most important part. It's a recap of the agenda for the day. And then the notes could be found in their respective chapter folders. As well as, like in this case, for example, 1.1 order of operations. This is an additional resource link that they can use for studying. That should just about wrap it up. I hope that was everything that was, I hope that would answer all your questions were we here in person. And we appreciate your time in watching this video this evening. So thank you. Feel free to reach out if you ever feel inclined to.